So I just realized that we have 13 days until The Last Jedi, and I thought on this channel I really want to talk more about Star Wars because that is one of my all-time favorite franchises ever. Like, and I really wanted to find something that I could talk about that could be something new to me as well. And lo and behold, I have forgotten, even though through cultural osmosis, I think I have basically seen the Star Wars Holiday Special, but I watched it in its entirety, and I've got to say, it's exactly what I thought it would be from all of the clips I've seen, from all the reviews I've seen, from all of the things that people point out that make this a terrible, terrible TV movie. It's a holiday special TV movie. But first, let me get it out of the way. Let's talk about the three main leads who were in the first Star Wars, A New Hope. When this movie came out a year after that, in 1978. New Hope came out in 77. But these three, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford, were I guess obligated to be in this. And this wasn't by I guess Fox did it, but I don't know. It seemed like it. I think it said online that it's still from a different company that was involved with this special. So we get the three main leads from the first Star Wars film that ever came out. And I love how all three of them, in special ways, are all equally strange and abnormal in this holiday special, due to life circumstance or due to not giving a shit. Like, Harrison Ford did not give a shit with this movie, or with this TV movie. The way that you see him on the screen, he is not charismatic. He is not interested at all in this thing. And there's been, I think with Conan, there's been like a thing where Conan talked to Harrison Ford about this holiday special, and he completely acted like it doesn't exist. Like, it actually looked like it legitimately pissed him off. And you could definitely see in this that there's nothing that he could cling on to in this. He is bored and pissed off in this movie, and especially at the end, whenever they have the big song, like whenever it shows like a montage of all their faces, it has Harrison Ford's face, and it looks just so disinterested in a way that they did not try to cover up or tell Harrison, you could try to look a little more enthusiastic or happy about this, even though you're not really, but you could at least show some respect for this. But I guess it's good that he didn't, because this is awful. But then you get Carrie Fisher, who we know her past. We know that she was involved with drugs and did a lot of, she had a lot of addictions, and it's sad. And that's what I think she died from, and it's horrible, but, and it's sad to say this because she only died last year, but and I'm not trying to, say this is a funny thing that she did drugs, but her performance in this is out of this world. The way that she, in ways like Harrison Ford did, he didn't give a shit, and she looks like she doesn't care, but it looks like she's so drugged out of her mind that she is pretending to care, if that makes sense. She looks like she's really not caring, but she's acting like she is because of the drugs. It looks like she's coked up or high or whatever, and it is crazy because she has this song at the end of the special where she sings about Life Day, and it is so obvious, to the point, like Harrison Ford, that they put these three leads in this and did not try to make them seem like they cared or make sure they're not on drugs. And then we get to Mark Hamill, who was in a car crash right before this, apparently. So he has so much makeup that he looks like a Ken doll, and it is creepy, and it's sad because Mark Hamill, he doesn't look like that in the first film. He looks normal, and then he looks normal in Empire, but they used little things to cover his face up, not globs of makeup to make him look unreal, like he's not a human being. And that to me is so funny that all three of the stars of the first Star Wars in this movie are either coked out, disinterested, or are look abnormal and don't look human. And it's so because of circumstances, and it's so I guess it's so just cynical because they don't care, and they've got problems in this time in their life, and they are brought into this special and with these problems and are just thrown in there, and it doesn't even make an effort to make them seem to care. That to me is a big reason why this is so terrible in case of the actors. It really is sad. It is. It kind of made me watching it. It made me go, man, this is really kind of undeserving for them to be in this and have all these problems. And it's so obvious to see this. It really is bad. But you have the three main leads, and they're not good in this, but there's reasons for that, like that I just mentioned. But they don't even matter in this holiday special because they're probably in this like for probably 10 minutes at most, 10-15 minutes at most of this hour and a half. Well, I guess you could say 2 hours with commercials, but hour and a half TV movie. They're only in it 15 minutes at most, and that to me seems like the most weird. That's the weirdest thing, in that they are the stars of the first one and they are barely in this, and then it's about Chewbacca's family, which I guess it was a better thing to have some other characters take the spotlight, but not these characters that don't speak English and don't have subtitles. And I don't know if they had subtitles whenever this came out, but I would assume not, because every recording I've seen, or clip I've seen, shows that these Wookiees, whenever they are speaking, do not have subtitles. So that really cracks me up that we have probably, I guess, 45 minutes to an hour of these Wookiees just fucking around with no subtitles, just saying nothing, saying random stuff that you don't understand literally. That to me is another reason why this is so awful. And the randomness of this makes absolutely no sense. Like, it's not in a way that it's trying to be random and be funny. It's so fucking weird. Like, for example, like, it just randomly, like, the main place is the Wookiee house. It is Chewie's family, and little Itchy, who has the scariest fucking look, by the way. Itchy, it's him watching all of these things, or somebody else watching things on TV from their place. So the story is technically just there, but you see other locations, like all the little things, like the Boba Fett cartoon, the porn, the music video for that band. All this stuff is related just in this, with the Wookiee family watching this, or somebody else in the Wookiee house watching this, something happen, and it cuts to this, whatever it is, out of any of those things, and just says, or it just shows it for like 5, 10, 15 minutes. Like, for like the Boba Fett short, I think it was like 10 minutes. That music video was like 5 minutes or so. That porn music video was like 5 minutes. Like, it is so random, and everything does not make literal sense. And then, like, B. Arthur at the cantina, or having literally no connection to each other. I guess the B. Arthur thing does connect, because she says, like, oh, the Empire shut us down, because the Empire is shutting down where the Wookiees live, at the pre-Kashyyyk, whatever they called Kashyyyk before that. It wasn't called that then whenever this came out. But it is just so random and so out there that it doesn't make any sense at all, and it's so odd to the point that it is memorable. Memorable for all the wrong reasons, I might add, but just insane. It just makes literally no sense. It's just, besides the main story thread where it's just the Wookiees watching stuff, or another character who's not a Wookiee, like an Imperial officer, watching something on TV at this Wookiee house, and it just shows random shit. And the only positive thing I can give this short is the Boba Fett short was not bad, honestly. And this was when he was first introduced. I know we got him in the special edition for New Hope later, but this is the first time we ever saw him, I think. And it actually did bring kind of a story thread that we never saw in anything between New Hope and Empire when Boba Fett shows up. And even in the special edition, Boba Fett's just in Jabba's palace, but like this story thread for the Boba Fett thing is kind of interesting because Han, Chewie, Leia, and Luke all go on this planet and they encounter him, but then they realize Boba Fett's on Vader's side and he's actually spreading information to Vader. And it's cool because they kind of like him at first, but then in the end he betrays him. And even though you don't need that technically for the movies, it's cool that we got that little shred of that. I thought that was a cool little tidbit, like showing before, like what happened with Boba Fett. Like, that's cool. That's a really cool way of seeing him before he's shown in Empire Strikes Back, or New Hope Special Edition in that case. But it still makes sense with the Special Edition of New Hope. Like, that's really cool because they don't encounter him in the New Hope Special Edition scene. So, but I think that's the only positive I can give it. I think that besides that, it's just so random and so odd that I think, in terms of Star Wars, people say the prequels are bad, and I could see why people don't like them. I don't think they're terrible in the slightest. I don't think they deserve to be called terrible at all. I think that they're creative and unique and are really great for a blockbuster movie. Like, I think that they are very creative and unique in that factor and have great action and great visuals. A bit dated though, but really, I think that those movies to me are special, and I think that it's funny whenever I hear the criticisms of those, and I just watched this holiday special for the first time, and thinking that this really, really, even though it's not canon technically now, it really, I'm glad that it went away and was hidden by people, because it could have tainted Star Wars whenever it first started after the first movie. That's really good that we didn't get this released again. It's only been shown once. And I really like, too, how next year will be its 40th anniversary. Like, New Hope was this year's 40th anniversary. And it's been literally kind of just recorded and streamed on the internet and has been kept in people's minds for 40 years, even though it's a underground type of thing. Like, it's not a thing that if you went up to a person who likes Star Wars but is not a big fan, like a casual Star Wars fan, they would not know what this is, and with good reason too. But I am a Star Wars completionist, and there's a lot I need to complete. I want to read all the new books that are canon. But like, in terms of Star Wars stuff, canon or non-canon, I really think that I want to watch and see like the rest of the stuff that they've got, because I love the movies, I love the shows, but I haven't gotten to the books or the other movies, like TV movies. Like, this one is the first time I watched the holiday special, and then I've got the 2 Ewok movies, which I've never seen and I should see, even if I don't know if those are canon, honestly. I really don't. I think those might be, might not be. But this one, just, it is as terrible as everybody says it is. It made me laugh though, because it was so inept and so weird and so random, but never in a good way. Never in a good way with the story, with the characters, with the acting, like it fails on every single level, and I'm not pissed at it. I just look at it and go, wow, that was a thing, and everybody who is not a big Star Wars fan, like a casual Star Wars or casual fan of Star Wars, wouldn't know what this is. So that's good. Only the fans know what this is, but that might be bad because it pisses them off. But Star Wars is always going to be something that people get pissed off about. Like, it's never, with all the new movies coming out, it's always criticism about every single new movie or every show. Everything after the original trilogy is terrible or not creative, not good, whatever. Like, Star Wars always has the people bitching about it. Every single movie that comes out, everything about Star Wars, and I love Star Wars. I love all the movies. I really love the TV shows. I think that I'm starting to read the books, and they're really good. The new canon ones, and I hate all the criticisms that we get for Star Wars that isn't the original trilogy. I think it's all really bullshit. But if you get pissed about the prequels or Rogue One or Force Awakens, look at this holiday special. Like, seriously, like, talk about how bad in terms of this movie, in terms of how this TV movie is so inept and has nothing to give. Even if I didn't like the prequels or Rogue One or Force Awakens, I can say they're beautiful movies. I could say that they're unique, like the prequels are unique, or Force Awakens is really fun. Rogue One is really fun and has a great third act, but that would be what I said if I didn't love them. But I do love all the Star Wars movies. I'm a biased Star Wars fan, but it's just so funny that people bitch about those movies and don't ever bitch about this. Seriously? Seriously. This was dog shit. It was so bad, and I've never encountered it before. I've seen clips, and I think that it is really, really bad. Now that I've seen it in full, I'm not pissed at it. I do laugh at it, or I did laugh at the whole movie as I watched it, and it was just because it was so inept. That's what I could say. But it didn't piss me off. It was just like, okay, this is something not canon. It doesn't matter. But thank God, it was terrible. But a lot of people have seen this, so I saw it on YouTube. That's how I found it. So check it out and go see the madness yourself, because it's something that you can't really. I mean, if you see clips of it, that's cool. But like, if you watch the whole TV movie itself, you'll have a full understanding of how fucking weird it is and how it makes no goddamn sense. But yeah, this really blew. But it didn't piss me off. But thanks guys so much for watching. This was a weird one to talk about because it just is so odd. But as a big Star Wars fan, I needed to watch it as a whole. I needed to watch the whole TV special. So I'm going to try to watch the Ewok movies if I can find them. But they're hard to find. But those are the only movies I haven't seen of Star Wars. I've seen every other live action or animated Star Wars film or theatrical film except for the 2 Ewok TV movies now. So that's it. That's all I need to watch. But thanks guys so much for watching. Check out my other stuff, and I'll talk to you later.